it's funny that name. The name came to me because of it came to me because like at the current time I wasn't making music and I know I was still attempting to try to be sane. So it just said, "Hey, fuck it, my name is sort of sane," and it's just something I wanted to put on Facebook, and there we go. That's my identity. I'm sort of sane, and furthermore, lately my name's been D-SANE8. That's the name I want to go back as far as the artist
Yeah,
because as the as like for me, I guess you could call it mental trauma. And because one of my friends, Liquid, he brought it up to me because he started noticing me doing it. I was splitting my life up in different identities. And every time I would fail, I would kind of think of it as a different number. And after we had that conversation, I was like, all right, fuck it. We're not going to split any more um, personalities up or anything. We're not gonna
yeah,
fail anymore. We're gonna leave it at 8 is the final version. And I just said, fuck it, my name's gonna be D-SANE8 at that point. And
yeah.
because he brought it, but the other part to me, he brought up to say, hey man, the reason you're doing that is because you're not satisfied with basically what you're doing. And you just kind of told me stop being a bitch and be all that you are. And ta-da! So I just said, fuck it. The main goal is fusing all of my cells now. So I don't have to
Oh
be
my
sort of
God.
sane anymore. I want to be fully sane.
That is beautiful, bruh. And yeah, see, that's like, cause even with sort of saying, like when I first saw it, I'm thinking like I get it, cause it's like even with definitions or even being right or wrong, cause it's like sane, it's like sanity is like okay, like I got it, like I'm sane, I got it, I got this shit figured out. But it's like sort of saying is like you still have questions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you say you're D-sane 8, like you know what you want, you know what you're going for, you know what you want to accomplish, you know what you want to express to the world. So then it's like it's more of a decision versus just being like still questioning it. That's what I think. That's what I get.
From bro, I attempted to run away from this music shit too. I just said, you know what? It's easier to just stuff my head into a computer and not think about this shit. Do not chase your desires. You normally have problems when you start having desires. And I just threw that shit
Mm.
somewhere and just tried to run away from it, but it came back. Every second there would be some tune or music just being generated naturally in my head,
Yeah,
and I was just like, it's starting to hurt now. It's starting to hurt to not make music. Hearing other people put stuff out, it started to hurt to not make music.
right,
It
right. I
just
got a voice. I got a voice. I got something to say.
yeah. So it's just like I couldn't deny it. I knew what my love was, and I was running from that shit. And that's why now I'm like, fuck it, man. I'm about to be all the me's that I can be.
That's beautiful. How old are you, fam?
I am 27, about to be
Beautiful.
28 in July. And you know what? It's funny because now that I think about it, 28 and fucking D-SANE8, maybe that's what this is all about. It was waiting for me.
Hey, it's perfect timing. It's perfect timing as far as the way things align, bruh. And like, just for lack of better terms, even God, it's like all the moving parts have to be together to manifest something great. So it brings that much more of a microscope onto like your own personal decisions and your personal path because your path is a part of other people, just like mine,
Mm.
just like everybody. So it's like we all have to be in that alignment. And right now, this is a moment, bro. This is a moment. I haven't talked to you in I don't even know how long, bro. It's been some. It's been a couple years. I know, at least a year. So it's
Bro,
like,
I think it's been three. Because I did
you
the
know,
whole ghost thing for about maybe 2 years. And then prior to that, I was disappearing. So, yeah, it's been at least three.
so it's like right now we have this moment. We have this moment, and like you, bro, the podcast. Come on, man. Like it's no mistake. There's no mistake, is what I'm trying to say. And I've been as far as art wise, I've been dabbling with the music. I haven't done nothing too serious. I probably since the last time we talked, I probably recorded maybe two songs. I know one for sure, and I definitely want to drop it ASAP. Shout out Sky Pride Music, my cousin that made the beat, and he's a perfectionist. He wants me to go back into the studio and do it in a professional studio. I did it at home. And this goes into the conversation about the lo-fi stuff we was talking about, or the quality.
Yeah,
But the energy on the song is,
it's
bro, it's so
amazing.
raw. It's so raw that I don't want to redo it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of
Wait,
those.
are we allowed to talk about it? Because I would
Of
love to
course,
voice,
of course, of
bro.
course.
That song was amazing. I fucking love it. And the thing is, it's crazy because it's like I sat there and listened to it probably maybe twice or three times, and next thing I know, I'm up there seeing all the colors and shit and the visuals, and I was like, yo, this is
Color,
dope. It
nice.
it felt like, because lately what I've been saying a lot is, if I'm there's a certain mode that I'm in if I'm too busy, and if I'm just getting off of work, if I'm just not getting out of traffic, and I call it the hyperdrive. It's when you're just so quick they want to get things done.
Yeah,
And what that song felt like was being able to be in the hyperdrive, but also slow that shit down while you're in it. And it's I can't wait for you to
interesting.
drop that shit.
Interesting. Thank you, bro. Thank you, cause I forgot I sent it to you. Cause I really
Yeah,
been
bro.
like I've been keeping it like a mummy, just under wraps, man. But like, certain people that I fuck with, I'm like, yeah, I want to know what y'all think about this. So I
Hey, bro, I
definitely,
feel honored that you even included me in that.
yeah, nah, bro. Hey, bro, like I told you, bro, this, bro, the way the life is, man, especially with the family, it's soul family, like, and you a part of the soul family that I'm in. It's the same thing. So it's like, I respect you on a high level, bro. Like, we ain't even really spent that much time around each other, period. But it's like you just when you know, bro. Like you know who a part of your tribe, and that's just what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I, you know the feeling. You know the feeling. It's something you can't deny the feeling. The feeling is there. And I remember it was arnetic. Yeah, it's always arnetic. When I start thinking back,
Uh,
that's
Shout
when
out
all this shit
Dphill.
kicked off.
Yeah, shouts out Ellum, man, for sure. The Arnetic, man. Yeah, brother.
Is there a space like that anymore? I don't remember, or I don't know if there's even a space with that kind of feeling. That, like, our tribe, the place that felt like us. Is there a place even like that anymore in Dphill? I don't know. I haven't been there in ages. The last time I went down there, I went to a ramen shop, and that was about it.
I don't know. The last couple times, cause I'm in Tyler now. I'm in East Texas.
You right? You right? I got fam out that way.
Yeah, man. I moved back down here because I'm from here. Um, I moved to Dallas when I was 11, so that was like 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And then I grew up in Dallas. And then I came back to Tyler in 2015. So, since I've been back down here, I would come out to Dallas sometimes. Need help. Peace and love. Yeah, I'm on the podcast, my homie
All right.
doing the podcast. Hey, peace and love. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Hey, have a safe trip for real. Y'all have fun. All right. So yeah, like I moved out here and then, I would take trips out there sometimes. Like I've been back to Dallas a few times, but as far as Deep Ellum, man, I ain't seen nothing like nothing like that at least. Nothing like how the Ornetic was. Like I've seen like I think it's one spot out there called the Nine. Was
The
it
nine.
Nine Mute? Nine or something like that. That look kind of urban or whatever, but I ain't heard nothing, bro. So I don't know.
From your perspective, if you had to describe what Arnetic was to you, what it felt like, could you, yeah, tell me
First of all,
what,
man,
yeah,
shout out to Topic and Team from Nowhere. I'm gonna say that because man, them guys, Junebug, Domino, all them guys, man, that was like they to me they was like the nucleus low key. Cause
yeah,
it's like cause me being a quote unquote misfit or feeling like I want to jump on top of this table right now, but ain't nobody else doing it. So I'm gonna just be in the cut. They was them people that like they didn't care, like they just wilding. So like them guys right there definitely inspired me, and it was like they were like the bridge between like the skater kids and the alternative, melanated kids
Yeah.
that was just out here expressing themselves and taking a lead. So I would
Yeah.
say the Arnetic was a place for leaders. It was a space where, like, coming up in Dallas, and I mean Dallas does have its, and that was a quote unquote weird sector. I don't even like using the term weird, when I call myself weird, somebody called me weird, but it was like that sector, that alternative melanated sector. Not even just melanin though. I mean, it was our lighter folks was there too. But I'm just saying, as
Yeah.
far as speaking from a melanated man perspective, it's like we created this space where it's like, okay, just do you, just be you. Like, we ain't gotta worry about none of that hard thug shit, none of that. Like, we just us, and that's what the Arnetic was for me, and especially infusing hip hop with that. Like,
Mm.
bruh, like, come on, man. We spoke about Lupe. I'm a big East Coast hip hop fan as well. So it's like, just to have that underground type, like, hip hop mesh with just like be whoever you are, do what you want to do, and we just having fun. Shout out to Solo. You know what I'm saying? I know you remember Brother Solo.
I know Solo. I know
Yeah,
Solo.
so that was that time frame and those type of people that just was like, this is for us. And now that I look back at it, it's like I kind of took it for granted, because it's like, damn, like, we had that space where it's just like, bro, like, it's just, I hate to use the term woke, but we was woke. Like, we knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, we see through the matrix. So it's like, that was a space. That's what that space meant to me. Like, we saw through all the other shit that was going on outside. But when we here right now, we get to wild out. We doing what we want to do. That's what the Arnetic was.
And now to find or create that next spot. And that's honestly what that place taught us. Just hanging out with Topic and them, because my first story that when I first was introduced to Topic, it was a place at Carter High School. It was called the Literary Society,
You said
and
Carter?
because I went
Hey,
there for like a year,
yeah.
and in that year I met the rest of the people that I pretty much would be knowing and hanging out with for the rest of my life, honestly. And I remember meeting Topic, and the first time because there was a gentleman, I forgot, there was a guy who was rapping. His name was Tripod, and he took me to where Topic was staying, and I remember rapping for him. And Topic was like, "You suck," and I was like, "Nah, I'm fucking." I either said something along the lines, "I'm the greatest. I know I am," and it's like, "I don't care what you got to say. I'm gonna do this shit anyway." And then this reply turned into, "Okay, I fucks with you." It
Yeah.
was just.
I love it. And then you sound just like him. I know that's what I know it. Yeah.
No. At that time I was rocking the fro, and there's a photo that a homie has, and our fros are like merged together.
Bro.
But
And not even to divert. I hate to break your concentration, bro, but
I'm
man,
chilling.
shout out Brain Gang and Brown and them, sore losers too. If we just gonna document all this, bro, we can't
I'm
forget
not.
sore
Am I?
losers.
Am I? I don't. Just drop me a link instead of saying I'm not
Bet,
familiar. Just drop me a link.
bet, bet. But yeah, they was a part of that. They was a part of that too back then. Not necessarily the Arnetic, but well, they was at the Arnetic sometimes, but it just, man, yeah, bro. Hey, I got you. I got you, man.
The important part of this conversation to me is we're talking about it, and for me, I'm real big on trying to go find it after I talk about it, because
Yeah.
prior to this, one of the things I was talking to people about was trying to find a black grocery store, a black owned grocery store, and a farmers
Mm,
market. There's a farmers market in Fort Worth that I still need to go to, but
deep.
that's black. Well, yeah, it's owned by a black owned. I'll send you a link for that too, so you can see it if you're
Okay.
ever in the neighborhood. But
Yeah. Let's
for
figure this
me,
out.
yeah, that's what it is. Because I want this to be more than just conversation. I want it to be, hey, we talk, we get shit done, we attempt to figure out ways to make this shit happen.
Man,
Because we all get to that wall in the middle of the conversation of we recognize what's bad, but we haven't sat there and figured out,
the
what's
solution.
Yeah, yeah. And the best thing you can do is try to draw some ideas, create a hypothesis, actually test that
Right.
shit.
Hey
And
man,
that's,
I'm loving this. Hey, I'm loving this. This is my type of conversation because I'm
bro, I know
already,
it is.
I'm already low key like introvert, and it's like I'm a solution based thinker. That's how I think. Like if there's a problem or there's something needs to be done, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's figure this out. What needs to be like if something happened right now, like if my fucking pocket fell off, I'm gonna be like, okay, okay, let's not panic. Let's figure out how we gonna sew this pocket back together.
Yeah.
Do we need to call our resources? Do we know somebody to sew? If I can't do it, do I know somebody that can do it?
It's funny that you think that you, not necessarily funny. I hate when I do that. The word is, it's interesting.
Ironic. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
interesting.
interesting,
Yeah.
ironic.
Yeah.
That you think like that because a lot of people don't understand that if their check stops coming in, they don't know where to go to next. And being well, being new to this entrepreneurship game or getting ready to start putting my foot in the water for this, I'm understanding that a lot more now. You have to be able to think past that day to day. You have to be able to understand that it's chess versus checkers here. But yeah,
Facts.
it
Facts.
but that's important to me. Just having those conversations and figuring out what we can do because I really like the movement that you've been pushing, the movement that you've been sticking with, heart game, and just seeing it advance throughout the years. It's cool to be able to reconnect and still see that there are people still out here pushing that same energy.
Facts. Facts, bro. And it's just like I said, man. It all started. Um, I'm 28 now. I read a book when I was 18 called The Alchemist.
Mm.
It's by Paulo Coelho, and I talk about this book at least once a week. I promise. Like ever since I've read it, I'm always telling somebody about it because it changed my life. And just to give it like kind of a brief summary about the book is this kid named Santiago. He's like a shepherd, and he has this dream about finding some treasure at the pyramids in Egypt.
Hmm.
So he's like, man, I got this shepherd life. My life is the same every day. I'm doing the same thing over and over. Let me go ahead and chase my dream. Let me go to these pyramids in Egypt to find the treasure. So he sets out on the journey. He starts meeting all these different people, kings, all type of people, crystal shop owners. He's meeting all these people, man, and it's just gems. Like really, you would have to read the book to understand, but it's to really get it all. But it's like gems, and I'll send you a link to that too.
I've
Um,
already wrote it down.
yeah, the Alchemist, yes, and look up. You can actually Google the Alchemist quotes, and you'll see goodreads.com, and it'll show you like just quotes, man. I'm talking about that book. That book is everything, but it's low key the Heart Gang Bible. It is. It really is, honestly. But that's what Heart Gang, like, before I even get to that part, he's going through this journey, man, and he's learning about his heart. He's learning about listening to the universe and how it's responding to his heart and what's in his heart. And yeah, man, I don't want to spoil the book, but that's the core message that I got from the book is following your heart. So, people say that, but they don't realize that your physical heart is actually a compass. You hear the term, like you hear the phrase follow your heart.
I do.
But people but see, that can be confused as a thought. Because you might think your heart is saying something, but it's actually from your ego. So like your actual physical heart has that power. And that's what I was saying about heart consciousness earlier. Like your actual physical heart is the pulse. It's that pulse of energy in your heart. Like your actual beating heart. Like I'm talking about in your body. Like that's your pulse. So it's like that's what's keeping you alive. So like let me find out what makes me come alive. What makes me feel excited? What makes me feel passionate? That's your
Mhm.
heart. That's your
Would you
literal heart that's beating in your chest right now.
would you say that
And that's
is what helps you differentiate between the two, which is Yeah, would you say you're
right?
focusing on what drives you because it's some form of fashion, your ego drives you too.
Yes,
So
yes,
how do
yes,
you
yes.
differentiate between the two?
Um, well, the ego, because I mean, speaking from my own experience, like, I started after I read that book. I pretty much after I'm talking about as soon as I turn the last page and I'm done with the book, searching my heart. I'm like, okay, what does my heart want? What do I was rapping at the time, I was all of that, but I'm like, what does my heart want? Like, what do I love? And then boom, I had a light bulb moment to the point where I remembered that my first dream in life was to be a basketball player. Like I wanted to play on the Mavericks. That was my dream.
Mm.
Like literally, like I'm going to the Mavericks. Like I'm watching Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Finley, Steve Nash. Like it's back in them days. Like I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I love basketball, so I came alive. I'm like, damn, I forgot about that. I wanted to hoop. So with me having remembering that energy and tapping into it and being like, okay, I'm gonna go after this dream. So I'm sorry. I think I'm like, okay, I can go back to college. I can start hooping. So I started looking into schools. I started going through that whole journey, and you know, obviously I'm not gonna hoop now, not professionally at least. You know, but it's the
Celebrity
fact
game,
that
that's what
it
you got to do now.
right, yeah. Cause they not gonna be expecting that shit. I come out there and shoot a three, they gonna be like, damn. But yeah, man. but yeah, man, it's like it's just the fact of that was a spark, right? Like that doesn't mean that's gonna be my end all be all, but it was a spark that
Mhm.
made me feel like I had something to look forward to, right? Because as I'm rapping at that time and I'm making art, I'm just looking at rapping like, okay, I'm rapping. I think I'm good at it. I think I could do this, professionally and get paid, get rich. But like, it's still something missing. So I don't know, because to this day, I think with the basketball stuff, it was more of like me. I'm a big fighter of honor. Like I fight for honor and respect. So I know
Mm.
that basketball is a gladiator sport. That's what it derives from. So it's like that's me as a warrior. The basketball aspect of me is a warrior. That's what that is.
I
It's
can
like
see
the
that.
will, yeah, like the will to win, like the will to overcome and win and never give up. And
That's that
and
warrior.
at the
Yeah,
same time, right, and at the same time being a team while doing it. So I think that's the aspect of me that sparks my interest for basketball. So I kind of was just I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go back to college. I'm gonna try to hoop and all this. At the same time, I'm rapping, and while I'm in the booth, I'm thinking about basketball. But it's like it's keeping my energy going.
yeah.
It's giving me something to look forward to. So I'm going through all these detours in life, and you know, like I say, I moved back to Tyler in 2015. At that point, I'm very depressed. I just made 3 years sober from Ambien. I was
Mm.
really addicted to sleeping pills, and not to go to sleep, just to like, feel good. So,
Mm.
um, when I came back to Tyler in 2015, that be between 2015 and 2017, that was the height of my addiction. So it was like, I'm just that I moved back to Tyler. Uh, I'm getting Ambien out the street. I'm getting prescriptions. I'm just getting high. And it was like I didn't really know where I was going, but I knew I had my heart. I still kept my heart. I'm still like, okay, God, I know I'm out here. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I don't want to do this forever. So I kept my heart as I'm going through all of that. Like I still feel my heartbeat. Like I'm focused on my heart chakra. So
And that's what drew you basically out of that.
yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Exactly right. And that's why heart gang is everything, because no matter what, if you got your heart, you're gonna overcome whatever it is. It might take some detours, it might take some dark nights. That's the thing. I don't want people. I want to say that right now. Like when people see heart gang, I don't want them to necessarily think about the shape of a heart and just rainbows and shit. This shit get dark and it get deep because your heart, the path of the heart is the road less traveled. because people would rather numb their pain than deal with it, and that's just a fact of
That's
life.
real.
Like we
That's
have,
deep.
yeah, yeah, we would rather numb that shit or just ignore it. So when you
Or run away
when
from
you're
it.
focused, right, and when you're focused on heart consciousness, is you might run from it. You know, I'm guilty. Sometimes I still
I'm
run from it,
guilty
but
as
I'm
fuck.
yeah. But the universe is going. I always compare it to, you remember them old school like Nintendo 64 game and race car games and stuff.
Yeah.
And like you will be, you got your car, you drive, and you get off track, and then it start blinking and bring you back on track. That's like
Mario.
that's yeah, yeah. It start blinking and then it bring you back on track. Like that's how I view life, you know. So it's just a point of like not Xing yourself totally out the game to where you can't come back, you know. And even then you'll reincarnate, but that's another topic.
Is there a
So
particular dark moment that basically helped you realize the importance of the light?
the importance of the light, well, I can say as far as, I was telling you about the ambient. So this was April 8th of 2017.
Mm.
So basically at this point, I had cut down because I was getting like dose like big prescriptions of the pill and then taking them all, just binging basically. So at this point in my life, I'm like, okay, I can just do one a day. I'm good. Pretty much I ended up getting a prescription, ran through it in like 3 days, you know, and
Damn.
the next day I woke up, my heart was like, okay, it's time to move on. It's like a knowing. You just know, like, okay, I can't do this no more. Like this is that's done with, and really it relates to mental as well, like not just the heart. That goes into the mental space because mentally I thought I really could just do one a day, which was for sleeping. It's a sleeping pill to get me to sleep. So, mentally I literally thought that yeah, I can handle this. I could just do like as it's prescribed. But when I realized I couldn't, it's a realization more. It's like when I realized I couldn't, then it was like, okay, it's time to move forward. And from there, that's when that stopped. That's when I stopped, taking the pills, and then it was just like, okay, let me move forward. And that was
Yeah.
definitely a drinking light in my journey. And then even going back to what we were saying about differentiating between the ego and the heart, um, it was pretty much, like I said, I was, thinking like, hey, I got these hoop dreams, cool. I'm gonna ride on that. I'm gonna look forward to that. Um, and then, I moved back to Tyler in 2015. I'm walking in Walmart one day and I literally just um had this vision to paint a hoodie. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna put these planets, this sun, like all this stuff on a hoodie. I did that. Fast forward like 2 weeks later, so I'm wearing a hoodie somewhere, and somebody was like, "Hey, like, who made that?" And I'm like, "Me." They're like, "Oh, do you take orders? Can you do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so, they pay me to do a hoodie for them. And I'm like, "Oh shit! Like my little classroom doodles, like, you want to pay
Mm-hmm.
money for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to buy that?" So from there, I'm just like, "Cool, I'm finna paint." And I love it. And for me, it's more of a service. Like I see the service aspect of painting too, because it's like I see the reaction that people, they appreciate it or they feel like, man, like I really love it. So it's like that was and this is me getting into the ego part of it, because it's like I started gaining more, notoriety basically, or just building a name off of painting. Because some people don't even know I rap. Like some, especially out here, in Tyler, like people
Mm.
just know me. They know me for my painting.
They just know you as the artist. Okay, I see you.
Yeah, yeah, real shit though, real shit. And it's like, cause it's like with music, man. Honestly, um, cause I mean, people sense vulnerability from painting as well, but like my music, I feel like it's so much more vulnerable. Like, and that scares me a little bit. It does, cause I know like if I get behind the mic and I drop a song, I better be saying some shit.
Mm.
I'm not just gonna sit up here and rap for a nigga. Like, I gotta say something, bro. So it's like You know, with me going through them shadows, going through the shadow work to learn myself, to let go, to heal trauma. It's like now I feel like I'm getting back to that stage where I want to rap because I'm not afraid.
You're finally
I'm not afraid
confident.
no more. Yeah. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Topic. Let's go. Exactly.
Hell
Exactly.
yeah,
I'm not afraid no more.
that's it's exactly it's a I understand it because I'm feeling that same way, and one of the important things that I learned, which I caught on after hanging out with Domo so much and just being under his kind of just under his
Yeah.
teachings in some form or
Shout out
fashion,
to God. Yeah.
he said to me one time, "Oh, I get it. You haven't felt pain yet," and that after realizing that, after actually experiencing some pain, those dark periods and whatever, you get it, and now it's like you got all this XP that you can just throw into the pen if you want to, and you have the ability to do that because you understand now. You got a story, you got some pain, you
Right.
understand. You can actually
Right.
tell the story better now.
Expressing it in a creative way. Cause it's like, and even then, like how we were saying about the lo-fi shit, like the quality. But it's like, you know, you'll hear some music or some artists and it won't even necessarily rhyme, but they're getting their point across.
Yeah.
So I think that's like part of my thing is like, and I think that that's the balance between vulnerability and just being like, oh, I want to be a good artist. Like I want to paint this picture for you, even sonically or audio wise. I want to paint this picture to where it's dope as fuck. But at the same time, me being raw about it.
Speaking
So
of
I
that,
think,
your I went through your Instagram to check out everything. It looks amazing. I like it. I like it a lot. What's your Instagram? Because I think people should see that shit. It's dope.
yeah, my Instagram is at Dphillgood. It's DPHILLGOOD. And then my art portfolio, like my strictly they cause the D Feel Good, that's like my personal and it's like business, but like I put more personal stuff on there too, you know, about my family and everything.
Mm.
But yeah, man, the Heart Gang 777, that's like my just strictly art. Like I just post art on that hoe. And then FBK Clothing Co. is the clothing line.
And that's dope too. The fact that you're selling masks in this period is dope as well, and they look cool.
We wasn't
It's
fucking with that shit at first.
was it because everyone named Mama was hopping on the chain?
Something like that, because it was really like I hate to call myself a conspiracy theorist, but I didn't believe in that shit at first. I'm like COVID, and I'm like, bro, like it wasn't even like I'm like I literally was looking at it like, bro, this is another government sham. It's some shit. It's an agenda. It's some shit behind it. So
Well,
I didn't
it
want
might
to.
still be. Like the thing is,
It
it
might
could be
still be
real. It could still be real, and still shit is happening at the same time. I mean, I wouldn't put past anything with any of these motherfuckers nowadays.
on God, on God. So it was that. It was a mix of that, and also like, oh, I don't want it to just be like we on a money grab to like make these masks. Like I want to make actual content, even with clothing.
Yeah.
It was, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, I don't want to be like, oh, these niggas, like I'm just making masks, and then it's like, oh, just because it's hot right now, and you know, it just looks so trendy. It look crazy. It look crazy, man. That's
Well,
another
that's why
conversation
I
for
like
me.
that you put your heart into it and you put some thought into it. I've seen some companies just put out some trash just to play to the whole thought process that everyone was
Right.
scared, you know. And
Yeah,
I saw that, and I said that's
man.
nice.
I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. I'm so inspired by this conversation, bro. This is like Buddha or in a month or something, bro. Like meeting on a mountain to talk. That's what this feel like. Like no cap, bro. And it's like, bro, I'm inspired, man. I'm super inspired.
Bro,
Like if it just
I'm
makes me,
glad to be a part of it. I'm glad
yeah,
to be a part of it.
this makes me want to just be more bold. Like it makes me want to just go in the studio right now and just like Just get out everything. Like that's how I feel right
Do that shit, man. The fucking music you sent me went hard as hell. I'm ready for you to drop a full-on album.
man. Can I go ahead? 'Cause I know you say you wanted some bars. Can I just spit my verse from that?
You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is this the section for the show or what?
Bro, it don't matter.
Don't
This
matter.
we chilling. We chilling.
It don't matter. Yeah, this is us. It don't matter. Look, man. The diamonds in my atoms dance, come together holding hands. I'm in tune with master plans. God is scoping from the stand, blasting through Lancaster in the Lamborghini caravan. Squad in here and we ain't playing. Titans in this plastic land. Spirit, come on in, expose our eyes to see what we be saying. I am feeling super saiyan, either that or Superman. I don't wear capes. I don't wear bait. It's not hate. I just like rocking the clothes that I make. I create from a space where hate crumbles and breaks. It's high stakes, risk for biscuits, linguine and cake. The time it takes to be great. It's a legend in your faith. I'm just searching for my heart without distractions in my way. The only time that I race is when I'm looking at my face. Kyle took a hit and now he's keeping up the pace. Alien from inner space, gone without a trace. Happiness is on my face. Find peace with no delay. Hit the beach and meditate. Ancestors on the way. Touch us with your Holy Spirit. 333 is how we pray. You see me and you see team, and it can't be no other way. We just waiting on the lunch to send us up to outer space. DMT is on my tongue, and I'm thankful for the taste. See my brand on her buns, and I'm thankful for the cake. I'm so patient with my pace. I'ma concentrate and wait. If you want to beat the odds, just stay down and see your fate.
Mm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro.
And
That shit was dope.
I smelled my grandma perfume when I was doing that verse, and that's when I knew, like, yeah, this is a one take. And she's an ancestor. She's an ancestor now. She transitioned back in 2015. And
Mm-hmm.
I wrote the verse and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I feel this. And then, I think I did one take and then I'm like, nah. But then when I was rapping it from the version that you heard on the track, and I smelt her perfume as I was rapping, I'm like, okay, cool. Ancestors here right
I
now.
think that's
So
awesome. That is beautiful. As you would say, that shit is beautiful. It's poetic, man. All this shit goes together. I'm recognizing the patterns, and that's what's cool. That's what's cool.
yeah, so it's like even with the spiritual aspect of everything, it's like, man, that's the point. That's what we got to talk about and really tap into and figure out what's real in his life and what's gonna help people ultimately. Because like
And
I
you
said, the ego, you know, as I start building a name for painting, um, it's like, man, okay, people are really gravitating. Like, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm making an impact. But then it's like the ego try to step in, and it's just like it kind of makes you overthink your art. It makes you overthink the process. It makes you overthink what you're putting out. Like, oh, are people gonna receive this? How they receive that? So it's like now I'm at the point where it's just like, okay, just make dope shit. Like, don't even. That's it. That's what you
don't even
came here
think
to do.
about it, just do it.
Yeah,
Feel it and
you
do it.
came here to make what you think is dope. And like, as far as music, that song I sent you and what I just rapped, like that like I don't listen to my music. Like I don't really like listen to my music like that. Like I don't know why. It's just like I don't really think highly of it, honestly. Like I'm just like, okay, I did that, cool. Like I laid down what I felt and what I thought. But like that song, bro, like I listen to that at least a couple times a week. And I'm like, yeah, I actually fucks with this. And that's why I believe in it so much. And that's like as far as music, that's the next thing I want to drop. That and shout out my brother Fresco, man. SMBM. He was on the second verse.
Okay, I know Fresco. I
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah. That's
Fresco,
my
but I didn't
brother.
know if that
That's
was
my brother.
actually him or not on there. I was just like, yeah, this verse goes hard too.
That's the brother. Yeah, that's my brother, man. And he killed that shit. He killed it. And like us together, we definitely be on some Super Saiyan, like level each other up shit. 'Cause I be telling him like, bro, drop your
Well,
knowledge
man,
in
I'm
this track.
behind it all the way. I need y'all to drop that shit and stop hoarding that shit. Don't be pulling that shit like me. Don't be just having shit sitting and never put that shit out.
Hey, shout out Sky Pride, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you his DM so you can hit him up because My cousin, man, cause hey, it's been a couple times I be like, bro, I'm gonna be a hoe and just leak this shit. But in
He's the
reality,
one
I'm
that
not
made the
gonna do
beat,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah, he cold as
Okay.
hell. He cold,
Cool,
man, and
cool.
yeah, yeah, he cold, man. He got a lot of shit. He got a lot of shit. A lot of shit. Lot of shit. We grew up together. From he was in the hospital when I was born. Like he 3 years older than me, so he saw me come out the womb like literally my cousin. So
That connection's tight. That's what's up.
oh
That's what's up.
man, yeah, man. So
I think it's
that's something
cool when you can relate to someone on that level when you're making music. It helps it not feel like work. It helps it helps you really get to the grit of you're trying to let people feel what you're trying to convey. And when you have an environment like that, it really helps. My brother, B's, been doing music with him since shit, almost is it 10 years? It's probably longer than that. But
on
just that
B.
connect, yeah, that connection. I honestly, when I record, I don't want anybody to be in the studio other than him. Like everywhere I would go, I'd be like, "Hey, can V's come?" Nobody knows this nigga because he's always in ghost mode. But yeah, that's my nigga. So I
Yeah, no,
understand the connection.
and it's definitely intimate. It definitely is, and I think that's why art is so valuable. And when I say art, that could mean music, painting, that could mean anything that's intimate. And I think this is a good point to make in this podcast about art. Whether that be a scientist, whether that be a surgeon, a writer, whoever,
Whether that
like
be a
a art,
podcast,
huh?
so I said, whether that be a podcast,
Exactly. This is art. This is a dance. Art is a dance between the cosmos. And if we were able to understand that, and that's why I'm glad we're recording this, because sometimes I get so caught up in my ideas and they go down the rabbit hole and damn, I'm lost again.
mm,
But now, now that we're recording these ideas so that we can bring them to people and also use it as a reference so we can go back and backtrack and go through our ideas so that we can bring them to the world. So it's like the art,
do
the
you
art.
do you do that? Do you ever record your ideas? Because I've gotten a habit. There's an app on my phone. What is it? It's some whack ass app. I might not want to say whack ass app since I'm using that bitch all the time. Anyway, there's an app on my phone called Journey that I was using way back in 2012, and it's just been on my phone every now and then. I'll jot down some bars in it, or if I'm too
Yeah,
busy to actually start typing, they have a recording feature on there. I'll record a beat that I'm making in my head so it's there, or I'll recite some shit and record it. And you can do the same concept with some ideas, man. Just when you wake up
yeah.
in the morning, just
What's the
sit there
name
and
of
hit that home. It's called Journey. It's called Journey. It's
it?
it's a cool little app.
Yeah, no, definitely, cause I've been slacking on my journal shit, cause like I would like to keep a journal with me at all times just in case. I just really got back on even like mentally processing that as far as like, oh, make sure you keep a pen and pad nearby. But definitely writing stuff down or recording it is a way of life. I had
Yeah.
a teacher tell me in 11th grade, my English teacher, Mr. Caffiero, shout out L Town Lancaster, you already know. But man, he told us he was like, thoughts are like bubbles. You'll get a thought and it'll pop and then it's gone forever. So like make sure you write down your thoughts. Like make sure you write
Mm.
down the ideas that you get. So that's something that definitely stuck with me. Like your thoughts are like bubbles, they'll pop and then it's gone forever. So it's like,
Yeah, bro.
especially,
I
yeah,
agree with
man.
that fully. They've been doing that since
Yeah,
the beginning of the time. I mean, that's how we got
facts.
most of this stuff.
Hey, that part, inventions, right? So it's like, that's my whole thing too, is inspiring, not even, because my whole thing at first, well, as far as when I first found my niche, so to speak, or just feeling like, okay, I'm gonna make art forever and this is my path. It's like at first it was like, okay, I want to inspire the kids, but we gotta inspire the grown-ups too,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like the thing me and my girl been talking about lately is it's a give and receive relationship between humans. Like we have to be able to receive. Like I'm a big giver. Like I'll give my heart to the last drop. Like I don't care. But like as far as me receiving, that's something that I'm more skeptical about. Like as far as trust issues, like if somebody giving me something or feeling like, I'm like, damn, I'm kind of skeptical. Like, oh, you got something up your sleeve. What is, I have that complex. Honestly, I do. Not with you.
Mm,
Yeah, I know this is real. This real right here. But we just and the same thing with her. Like how I was saying, she's very vocal. She's very she likes to speak out. I be telling her like, don't waste your energy because if the person ain't willing to have a dialogue and receive what you're saying, then it's not. It's a waste because it's like hitting a brick wall. It's like throwing out water to give somebody
exactly.
to give somebody a shower. But if they're not ready to take a shower, that water just gonna roll off of them, and it's going back to the earth anyway. So that's cool. But it's like at the same time, you don't want to waste that. You want, it kind of goes to the Bible when it talks about casting your pearls among swine. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's very sacred, bro. Even what we speak about, even what we talk, and that's what I said in my song when I said, "Spirit, come on in, expose our eyes to see what we be saying," because people don't realize speaking. When you speaking, bro, like that's not just speaking. Like you creating, like you making shit with your speech. You're
Mm.
creating things. So it's like I'm very careful about what I say. I'm very careful, very careful. Even if it's joking, like I'm careful
I had to
because I
learn that.
realize the power. Yeah,
I, I am very sloppy with words, and I'm constantly attempting to be better about it. I didn't understand how important words were, and it cost me tons of interactions, cost me relationships, cost me friendships, if you ask me. And yeah, understanding that that's why you get to that point where you understand how important it is, how
right.
important just understanding the definitions of the shit you're using. That's another thing. The polarity
Man,
of words. The polarity of
man,
words are so important. It judges the how the mind it interrupts their current per se. If you say I'm trying to have a really good example. It's like basically saying, damn, I wish I had a good example. But the point that I'm getting at is the choice of the polarity of the words you choose will dictate where that person's mind goes. And if you're fucking
right,
up and all you're doing is
right,
saying the negative versions of it, that's gonna put them in the negative. So you have to understand what you're
right.
doing when you're talking.
Oh
I
my
get it.
God,
I get it now.
man, the Holy Spirit is here, bro. Cause that's so real, bro. Like especially when it comes to us, and that's the thing, bro. About people talking about making a change, Black Lives Matter, everything. I get it, bro. I get everything, but like, bro, the dialogue, and that's what's so special about. I noticed that what you said about your podcast, it's the dialogue to like really figure some shit out. Cause like, bro, the communication, like, that's why like,
That's where it's at.
yeah, a person that support Trump or whatever, like, I'm just using that as an example because it's popular, whatever. Like, whatever somebody does that I'm not necessarily understand or agree with, I want to conversate. I want to have a conversation. Why? Okay, let's compare things. Oh, we can't do anything for each other. Cool. I'm gonna be doing my thing. You do your thing. Cool. You know, even if I have insight to be like, oh, what you're doing is wrong, and I'm trying to help you. If I can't do it, like I said, if you can't receive that, and it's like, what else can I do? So it saves us a lot of energy from wasting it. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
Like, yeah.
now for me, the next level that for me is I guess as I'm playing around with these thought experiments and I'm trying to constantly figure out where I want to be on this spectrum, I because when I heard that conversation, I get it. I do understand conserving your energy. For me, I want to have the ability to, in some form or fashion, have infinite energy so I can take it a step further. And when those
Mm,
conversations end, still be able to communicate, because I want to understand this person's perspective. I want to be able to have the
Right,
conversation with the person that's a Trump supporter and figure out why they won't get over the hurdle of understanding that it's more than
right.
some
Hey,
statistics.
you just
So
opened my mind to a new, yeah, exactly.
it's that's I feel like that's one of the problems as humans we have, and it's because it's instinct. We naturally want to win, so in some form or fashion we end up imposing our ideas on another person as if those ideas are the correct way, when I feel like it's a spectrum. No, it's not even a feel anymore. I know there's a spectrum, and we have to understand it, respect it, and then have the conversation to figure out how can we make things work and not just shut things out. Because what I'm seeing now is people are just real, they're just real comfortable with just ending the conversation, blocking somebody, and just staying segregated in their own little village with people that are just like them, when we
Yeah,
live in a melting pot. So we have to, we're in this bitch together, man. We in this rodeo together. We got to figure this shit out.
yeah. Nah, I completely agree, and I'm thankful that you brought that into perspective because literally what you just said, it made me think about, okay, like say if I was in a conversation, and this is just, bro, I don't even fuck with politics. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, just as an example, say if I was in, somebody that, and I mean, just naturally, people associate Trump with racism, all this shit, whatever. So it's like if I'm having a this is say I'm having a conversation with somebody, they're very strong rooted in what they feel and what they think. I'm very strong rooted in just like, okay, like let me try to understand. But
Mm,
then like if it gets like you say, it gets to a wall, then it's like, okay, we gotta separate. But see, your perspective is what I dig because it's like, even though we hit a wall, I'm still gonna push forward with the force because I know the force to be right. I know the
yeah.
force to be true. I know the force to be not even right, to be true. Because see, we get caught up in right and wrong. So it's like, I know the force to be true. This is what's true to me. And see, that goes into, and and before I go to that, I respect that because it's like I'm still gonna like unravel this shit, even though we hit a brick wall.
Mm.
So it's like, even with that, what knowing what's true to you, and that's why like I found out like why testimony periods are so important in church, because it's like you testify, like you say, like you know the truth from experience. So it's like that's one thing with the Freemasons. It's like I researched the G in the what's it called, like the contractor, the little triangle thing, the little
I am
contractor.
I'm not familiar. Well, I knew a couple gentlemen associated with Freemasons, but I'm not versed in the actual teachings
Well,
of it.
what I'm saying, like the symbol, I think it's
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
dollar. Yeah, the
I'm not.
G with the with the contractor, it got like basically a pyramid.
Yeah,
But that G, I did some research, and the G stands for Gnosis, which is Gnosis. And what Gnosis mean is that you know the truth from experience. And honestly, that kind of, I think hypnosis is kind of close to that. But
mm,
from what Gnosis was like, you know the truth from experience. Because, I was always wondering, like, damn, what the Freemasons know? Like, what's so secretive? Like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? So, like, once I learned about Gnosis, which that G is what they use for their symbol, it stands for Gnosis. And that means that you know the truth from experience. So it's like almost like as if there's no big secret. It's just like, spirit, and you know what's true to you from your own experience, and you can share that with other people.
yeah. The the thought that I normally run, because I'm a big fan of doing thought experiments. Um, I started playing around with and I'm probably butchering this concept, and I'm pretty sure this concept already exists and it's simplified to an essence. But the way that I started playing around with it is you have fact, you have how people feel about those facts, and you have what's created from how people feel about those facts, and that's how you get everything from the lies and the opinions and all the other shit.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
So
I mean,
man,
in
that
some
and
form of
see,
fashion, oh, well, I
nah,
was
go
gonna
ahead,
say in
brother.
some form of
Go ahead,
fashion,
brother.
that also brings art from the all from the fucking facts that begots art. So how you feel about those facts brings that everything, all the spectrum, all the perspectives is just us telling this different story of those facts and how we perceive them. And so many of us, we can't just ignore people and think that they're just wrong and shutting them off. Like, yeah, there are things that we know that's right. Like you said, there are things that are right and wrong. I really don't think we should be killing people because people are already going to die. I'm trying to move forward because that's a whole nother tangent right there. But to get to the point that I'm getting at is we need to take the time to have
Mm,
the conversations so we can understand the spectrum even more.
bruh.
It's
And
really
see,
important.
yeah, this is all full circle. Cause we done went all the way around the world. We done shared expressions. But bro, what you just said, that's what I've been saying for the past 2 months. Conversation. Real conversation. That's how we're, bro. And you know, it's certain sayings, conversation rule the nation. Bro, that's fucking true. Like, bro, having a dialogue, an open dialogue without being upset. I mean, you could be upset, but still having that open dialogue. Like, and really, it just blew my universe open because it's like to have so much, emphasis on this is it makes me look at life in a whole different way. Because you have these these conversations that seem meaningless or it's small talk, but it's like, bruh, like us having the opportunity to speak to each other and really share our life and ideas to see where we're going and what we want to do, whatever it may be. Like that is so crucial and important. So important. Man, it just blew my mind, honestly, to just really just soak that in and think about it in that way.
You mentioned small talk, and for me, I used to be a downlooker when it came to small talk. I hated when someone would start having a conversation about the weather as if I don't realize the fucking weather.
Yeah.
But my bro V's, he really brought to my attention that you have the small talk so you can get to the big talk. I've learned that,
Ooh,
and
brother saying yes.
you got to know that because we all live in this hyperdrive and we're always trying to get things constantly done. So
Right.
we want to make sure our time is not wasted, but we have to understand that just I don't know, man. I'm fucking rambling. I ain't no fucking saint or anything. I'm just from my experience and what I've learned, you you gotta have the small talk. That's how you can help learn a person. And
Right.
then
Right.
you guys can sit there and then have a conversation about some real shit. That's just what it is. That's what I'm learning from it, and now I appreciate it. If somebody says something about the weather to me now, I'll be like, you know what? It is fucking sunny and hot as fuck here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
just yeah, it's just
Yeah.
that shit's important, and I wanted to say that because I want someone to understand that one day. I want to help someone understand that.
Hey, I'm gonna say it like this, man. I mean, whoever listen to this, bruh, we gonna reach the people that need to hear it for sure. And it's just even to get deeper into it, man. As far as the masculine and feminine energies, bro, like, and this is just this is what we talking brothers. So it's like, man, the women, you see women rising just naturally, not even powers of, not even necessarily saying politics or entertainment level, but like women's is they're rising because they're tapping into their left brain to basically become wizards in a way. And that's just for lack of better terms, but it's basically mastering your reality. So it's like
Mm.
the women, the woman, it's a lot of arguments or theories that say the woman was first, the black woman or melanated woman was first, and then the man came to bring structure. So we were second in essence. And you see the women rising, they're tapping into because like the male side is the left, that's the left brain. The feminine energy is the right brain. So it's like the women naturally they're rising, they're understanding their left hemisphere and getting shit done. Because as men, we got lazy, honestly, just as a collective wise, and that's why they say women, are more mature than men. Um, it's just because they were first.
Now, I want to bring you back in and help me
Sorry,
understand
yeah,
this
'cause I was going
concept
somewhere else. Yeah, I'm
because,
going somewhere. Yeah.
well, I'm new to the concept, and because for me, in my mind, I like to play around with the thought that at the end of the day, what are we? We are our minds. So if you
Mm,
subtract the feminine, well, feminine or the masculine part out of it, we're our minds at the end of the day. And for
damn.
me, I, well, yeah, this is a new concept to me of understanding. Hey, the left side is the feminist or the right side is the male side, and elaborate more. Tell me, there's a there's a Reddit called "Explain to Me Like I'm Five." So explain to me like I'm five.
Yeah, got you, man. So from my understanding, um, for example, I'll have times where it'll be like an evolutionary um crossroads, so to speak, or where it's like I'll be emotional, which is tapped in from the heart to the right side of the brain because it's crisscross. Like so, but then I'll have logic step in, which would be the male side of my brain to bring me into structure
Mm.
and not be lost in my emotion. Um, and it's just different things I observe within myself. Like I'll feel these parts of my body or these parts of my brain um that that makes sense to me as far as that concept of duality. And then as far as, well, I'm gonna just say from what I perceive as far as you saying that it's all one thing, like it's all one mind, everything is mine. Um we're now crossing into where we merge those two energies to be one, to be whole. Is that kind of along the same lines?
Yeah, it, I started then teeter into the singularity, but I think that starts when you start including humans and androids becoming one. But besides all that, yeah, it's I get you.
Damn, see now I want to know about that.
Um, so I don't butcher it. It's a concept that was introduced to me through playing. It's a video game called Mass Effect, and spoiler alert. In the end, one of the endings. Damn, I kind of don't want to spoil that for somebody. Like, point being, the singularity event. It's kind of I'm butchering that shit because I don't fucking
I know, yeah. I
I
know.
like
So the
if I were
game,
to just give a rough idea of what I would think it is, it's here's a scenario. It's where you have a you have a world where we've created androids. Because in my head, I think the next thing we run into after we get over people wanting to be, you know, we're caring too much about how people have their preference of sex, and that's just like not even important because the next thing is going to be when a person turns into, hey man, I want to be part animal, and then we start going, okay, now we got problems with trans species, while that's going on, we also have androids being made, and we're going, hmm, do these androids have rights? Where as we program them, we keep programming them, and it gets to the point where, in some form or fashion, they have their own mind. So we're going to be constantly fighting about these identity politics, and it'll get to the point where the day we actually come back together as one is when we all realize, well, basically when it becomes a singularity and we all understand that it's a mind. We're all minds. We're all that. That's what we are. But it's
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
just some shit that I just run around in the head with, and that's just the thought. Because it was funny, because before all of this, we had this other podcast, and it was funny because there was an episode called the Gay Black Android or something like that, the Gay Trans Black Android, and that's the person that's gonna have the most problems out of all this shit at the end of the day. But
Right. Right.
but but
Right.
it's I don't know, that for me, singularity is us understanding that we are each other. We are each other. And
Right.
that's
And see, yeah, bro, that's been one of my things of like, cause like I've had this thing like growing up where it's just like, oh, if somebody don't agree with me, then that's the enemy. Not even
mm,
realizing that's me. That's me. And that's something I'm still coming to grips with, is that
we all
everything
do.
outside of me is me. It's all one thing. There's no separation, right?
Yeah. I think
And that's
it's
something I'm,
instinct. Our
yeah,
desire to survive, it makes us start thinking that if we don't agree with something, it's the enemy and we have to destroy it. When that's not exactly how it is. It probably comes from how we were back in the day. We see that there's some other people trying to destroy our village. We got to kill them. We see there's an animal out there that's trying to take our
damn,
young. We got to kill it. We don't agree with it. So the thing we think is natural is to kill it. And I know the argument could be, well, it's natural. We're supposed to do it. Not exactly.
yeah, because
I
we're
don't
supposed to
think that's it.
evolve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as you evolve, you understand it a little bit more, or at least that's what we would hope the evolution would come from. That's what would come from the evolution, and yeah, I just think it's our instinct to just automatically eject somebody from the equation to make it easier. We're not a fan of doing the hard
damn,
work, and that's what I think we need to start realizing. You got to do the
that's
hard
real.
work. You got to do the hard work.
Yeah, that's real. And like, that's why I've been telling my girl lately, because I was telling about the pattern I would have of like basically breaking up with my girlfriends, because it was like, if I felt like we couldn't see eye to eye or we disagreed, it was like, okay, bet, cool, we ain't gotta be together.
Mm,
See, on that token, I missed out on realizing that some of these problems was coming from me. So it's like now that I'm with her, it's like the love outweighs any disagreement or not seeing eye to eye. It's like now I'm starting to see my own trauma. I'm starting to see my
mm,
own things that I thought that I grew in, or things that I thought I was over, or things that I wasn't as far along as I thought I was when and we got together in October 2019 last year. And she woke up so much shit in me, bro. Like it's like at the point of no return. Like at this point, like like literally, it's like, yeah, we here now. We got a baby on the way. Now even outside of it, I'm just saying, like, she woke up a lot of shit in me that I didn't know was there.
that
And so,
communication brought out more of you, and that's what you want
right,
from communication. That's what you want from it.
yo,
That bettering, that I had to I had to understand being better, and that's what it's really about. Because shit, was that eighth grade? I fell into those emo tactics, and you just hyping up the negative because you think that's what you're doing to either be or get attention, or I don't know. I don't even know what the hell that's about. But the point
Yeah.
I'm getting at is when you sit around and you play around with a little thought experiment, and you go, okay, what's the reason to be negative? Is there really a reason to be negative? And I played around with the thought, and I started going, the only reason a person is really being negative is most likely to reinforce how important it is to be positive. And I say this a lot. I've been saying this. I don't know how many times I've been saying this. I just know now I believe in it. It's you need that negative to be positive because most of the time there's no reason to
Damn.
be negative. So
That's real. Yeah.
then
That's
it
real,
then it
man. Oh, go ahead, bro. Go
well,
ahead.
I was gonna say then it transfigures to all right, that means the only thing that you need to be doing is becoming better. And ta-da, there you go. That's what it's all about. It's all about being better. That's what evolution is. So yeah, that's
Damn. Boom. Universe. That's right. That's right. That's right, man. And it's like how we was talking about the ego, bro. Like the ego, it's like I don't know if you ever tapped into Eckhart Tolle, the author.
I I am oblivious to that. You got to
Yeah,
send me
man.
a link.
Yeah, man. He like basically he's like a master of the ego. Like he knows like the trick, like all the he talks about the emotional body. Um, it's a lot, bro. But he got a couple books. He got about 3 or 4 books out that I know of, and um, pretty much in the like the preface of his book, he talks about like how he was suicidal. He wanted
Hmm.
to end it all. He was sitting on this bench at the park, and then just boom, like he realized when he was talking to himself in his head that, oh, if I'm talking to myself, then somebody else must be listening. If I can hear these thoughts in my head, somebody else is listening. And
Mm.
then that's when he basically deconstructed his like he separated from to realize that his ego wasn't him. And man,
Mm.
yeah, man. Eckhart Tolle, he a trip. He a trip, man. But it's it's definitely insightful, bro, that we talked about this and um what you really just said stuck with me as far as we need that. Cause like for me personally, the darkness and the shadow work and the ego was something that I necessarily didn't want to acknowledge. Just feeling like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be positive all the time. Um, this shadow work and these demons or whatever, that's not something that I need to even participate in as far as even exploring what the fuck they saying to me in my head. So, what you just told me is like, okay, that's a catapult or that's a balance of being better because we need both.
Yeah.
And even going into the energies, the feminine energy is naturally negative, and and that's why they say like, well, the Bible kind of flipped it because they said that the man came from the woman, whatever. But is that a dog? Yeah, I'm outside right now. um, yeah, man. So like, it's basically like there's like the feminine energy is naturally like negative. So it's like the woman, that's why the woman, like the man, I want to, bow, not even necessarily bow down, but like listen to the woman because it's like that grounding energy, and that's Mother Earth. It's negative, like it grounds you, it pulls you down. But see, people, and that's why like when people say positive vibes only, like I get it, but like you gotta have negative too. Like it's both.
It's a
It's
balance.
both. Yeah, exactly. It's both. So bro, it's just a lot of science and it's wild. I got to call out here. Speaking of the queen, man, I gotta call out here because this pit bull just came out of nowhere. She love animals.
You need to take a pause real quick, or
Oh no, we good. Hey, babe, come here. Wonder Pit, Wonder Pit. Wonder Pet. He came out of nowhere.
Wait, is the dog named Wonder Pet or it's just a
I
random
don't
dog?
know. Yeah, it's a random dog. It's like a pit bull. Just came out the woods. We out here talking and it just popped up. She love animals. Yeah, man. It's all good, man. You gonna try to
Pitbull
move in?
friendly?
Man, very friendly. Got a collar for sure.
Okay.
Definitely
Yeah,
for
it's
the
crazy
fans.
because the way that they perceive everything or the way that the media feeds you, you automatically hear Pitbull, and in my head, the first thing that goes to is, oh shit.
Right, right, right. Yeah, we was talking about that, but yeah, man, he is. I think it's a boy. Yeah, very friendly. Is it a girl? I don't know. Like a boy. Very friendly. Very cool. And see, that's the thing. See, even talking about animals, bro. So like, animals always mostly touching the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're in tune. So it's like they know spirit. You know what I'm saying? That's why you always see people say like, I done came across people and they'll have a dog and be like, oh man, your dog, my dog is so cool with you. Like that's how I know you're a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like they on the earth, like they touching the earth all the time. Well, unless it's like just a straight up house cat or house dog, but for the most part, they be outside. They touching the earth. So
Yeah.
like they know spirit. Like to me, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just like people. You're gonna have people that's crazy too that just might attack somebody, but for the most part, yeah, they on the earth, so they know what's up.
I think that's probably why I started seeing people walk around with their shoes off. So they can be closer to the earth.
It's more popular now.
I saw it. Well, I saw it because I was at a Gambino concert, and he was
Yeah.
doing it. And then I know there was
When
other
was this?
people doing that. You said when was this?
Yeah.
Let's see. Come on. When was this? This was
Yeah, Bino.
this was 20. Is this 2017 or 2018? I think it was 2018. It was 2018 because I know that's when I was on my ghost mode, and I was yeah, that was 2018. That was 2018, and he was performing the songs from whatever that last album where he has the blue face on it. The
Oh yeah. Awaken my
yeah,
love.
yeah, that one, and also he was dropping pre joints from his new project. Well, correction, because he still ain't dropped that joint. Still pissed about that. I think they named it Human Sacrifice. It was something along the lines of I cannot explain the feeling I'm alone. Whatever that song is, they did not release. I'm so pissed about that. But
Hey, I don't even think I
but
heard it. I know he dropped that album, the one with he got the song with him in 21. I can't think of the name. I think it was like a date, like he named it after November or something.
he did. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, it's a dope ass project, and it was really cool. I was just like, man, you've been had that song teeter totting around this whole time, and you've been teasing it, and you didn't release it, and I'm just like, I feel a little salty, and it was funny because I remember I got on Reddit and I started asking the there's like a fan page or whatever, and I remember the first reaction to it was someone told me, wait, sit down and wait. Basically, just chill, just chill
Yeah.
and wait. And I get it. And maybe is that be considered something a part of the ego or being attached to the hyperdrive so much you just wanting things to
Definitely,
happen so fast.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And that's another thing the heart has taught me is patience. Like being like so deeply rooted in searching my heart consciousness is patient.
Mm.
Like I'm walking this walk because, like I tell people all the time, a lot of times it's 98% blind faith for me. That's my journey. Like it's 98% blind faith. So it's like that teaches you patience when you're literally searching your heart and walking with that.
Hmm.
You don't know, man. The heart is so mysterious. You know how they say God works in mysterious ways. Like the journey of the heart, man. Like you might get a miracle tomorrow, or your heart may be leading you to do something that don't seem. It's scary. It's scary.
I
So
know my personal faith construct. I That's just being sloppy with words. The For me, I am still a part of figuring this shit out.
yeah,
My journey has led me to say I'm not married to any of this shit, but I do
yeah,
understand that there are other things outside of us. I understand that. I
yeah.
understand that there's a God outside of this shit. And what my journey that brought me to that was I like to create stories and draw comics and just build tools. And that doing the whole thought experiment thing, that sat my ass down to start going, well, that also means that whatever God or higher power or being is out there, they can live outside of these rules too. So therefore, who the hell am I to say that something doesn't exist? So my faith is kind of grounded because it's more survivalistic. It's better to have faith than not.
Yeah. And that,
But
yeah.
it's
Go ahead, bro.
and it's that's kind of what that's kind of what brought me to being able to accept it more, because originally I was like, man, it has to be facts, it has to be science, it has to only be this and
Yeah,
only be that. But
yeah.
then you get it. There's so much more to the spectrum. There's so much more to it, and who the fuck are you to start determining that you are the right one to decide that answer? So,
Right. Yeah, and that goes into two things I want to talk about as far as how we were saying about Gambino and people was walking on the grass, walking on the earth. You know, this is nature. This is we've walked around this planet and just took it for granted, just walking around, not realizing, oh, this is our current reality. So when it comes to facts, we have to get into the groove of of nature and knowing that this is the grooves, these are the laws that govern our existence right now.
hmm
Um, and it was something else I was gonna say. It's because, man, you know how when we get together, we trying to figure
it
this
just
shit out.
goes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was something else that I really want to tap into. Um, man, it'll come to me later. I try not to spend too much
Well,
time on
what I'll do is piggyback on what you're saying. I think the beautiful place to mimic for a lot of these worlds would be the example of Wakanda in both Marvel comics, both in the film. Well, the film doesn't. I don't know. As I'm trying to retract the memory, I don't know if it necessarily explains how important it is to fuse technology and nature together and in a healthy way, to where I don't know, man, you do some crazy concept where every home is built around a tree or some shit, or every community has a garden and shit. You know, it's you you gotta create this blend between nature and technology that allows them to grow together
right, right,
healthily. And
right,
when we're all stuck in the hyperdrive and we're just focused on how can we get this shit out to them faster, how can we just appeal to them and not actually worried about the things that matter, we forget that. We forget that. And that should be about change. That's kind of the way to do it, and that's kind of the only thing I could think to do about it.
yeah, exactly. It's that harmony. Exactly, it's that
Yeah.
harmony for sure.
That
And like,
music.
hey, nah, for real, yeah, bro. Oh, and that's another thing. I think this was kind of what I was tapping into earlier. Like, as far as the current, being in that current, because I know for me, I get inspired randomly by stuff that makes me want to create, or it'll even be conversations. And I think that's important with art, like how you saying with lyricism, because it'll be conversations I'll have with people, and literally I'll say something to them, or they'll say something to me, and I'm like, damn, that's a bar. And
Mm.
so that's one thing. Even with painting or whatever it is, like it comes back to that dialogue. Um, and as far as the ego, like I said, being the separatist as the ego likes to be, I know I've had issues of isolating myself unhealthily,
Mm.
you know, wanting to be
Don't
by
we all?
myself. Yeah. And feeling like a defense mechanism as far as, oh well, if I'm alone, I can't hurt nobody, can't nobody hurt me. And that's something that I still try to get through that. I still try to unravel that to what that means. So with that, um, even the great Erica Badu, she had a song where she said ego trying to block the door. And it's like literally the ego will block the door. It'll block the doors of communication, receiving messages from the universe. So it's just like, yeah, bruh, we got it in the bag though. I know that for sure. Oh, this is
I'm
what I was getting to. Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I ain't gonna forget this time. Go ahead.
for me. I just wanted to say I'm still figuring it out. I'm not sure. I know where I want to be, but that's why I feel like it's important just to focus in on being better, because
Yeah,
I'm still wondering, is the ejection of ego, is that the proper solution, or being able
right,
to understand ego and know when to
right,
put it
and
in
work with
check
it,
and know
and work
when to
with.
use it, because there are times where ego comes in. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool to be able to hang out and get excited about winning, or and driving that shit forward.
Yeah,
That's a source of energy. Ego is a source of energy, and I just think we need to be
yeah,
able to understand it better so we can use it
yeah,
properly.
yeah. Because even going into what we was talking about the chakras, I think the ego is associated to. I don't want to be wrong, but I want to say it's associated with the solar plexus, which is the third chakra, and that deals with self love. Um, and that's where it becomes tricky because it's like you want to love yourself at the same time you don't want to be selfish,
Mm,
and that's a deep point because it's like I know me as an introvert, sometimes I need time to recharge. I
yeah,
need to come back in myself and just be by myself. But I think it's only selfish when you do things that are at the expense of others in a detrimental way. Now, that goes a lot of ways because it's like when it comes to that person, it just comes to your intuition at that point because it's like, okay, what I'm doing right now is for me, is at the detriment of another person or the whole. But like at the same time on their side, am I feeling like, oh, I'm gonna hurt them because I'm not doing this or I'm doing this? So it's just, it's tricky, man. It's the ego is something that you definitely, because it's like, and I heard Pharrell say it in the interview. He was saying how, like, when you're winning, the ego is all on your side. The
mm,
ego is, yeah, yeah, like you the shit, all that. But then it's like when you're losing, that's when it's like, man, like yeah, the
it's
ego
not
is
your friend
against you.
anymore. It's kicking your
Yeah,
ass.
yeah, yeah. So that,
How
and
many
then it's like,
chakras are there?
oh well, we actually have a lot of them, but the main chakras are the seven, which is your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, your throat chakra, your heart chakra, um, your solar plexus, which is in your stomach, your sacral chakra, which is like your genital basically area, navel, genital, and then your root chakra. And those are the main seven. And the root is like connected to the earth directly.
Mm.
That's like the survival chakra.
I
So
remember, I remember solar plexus
plexus.
because
Yeah.
of there was a, what was it? I forgot what art we were learning in school. There was a class. I think it was self defense, and we were learning different moves and whatnot. I forgot what form of fighting style it was, but that's when I learned the solar plex, because one of the main things he taught us is, if you really want to knock a person on their ass, you hit them directly in the solar plex. It's gonna do more to them than you punching them anywhere else in the body. You hit them definitely dead center there, and they're gonna sit on their ass for a good second.
So did he literally say the solar plexus?
He called there was well, I'm guessing solar plex and solar plexus
Yeah, same
run
thing. Yeah.
root together. And I just pulled up this picture of it too, and it's dead center where it's at. So I'm pretty sure them hoes are associated.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I was just wondering because the only reason I asked is because I know I had to learn all that on I hadn't heard about that till I was just on internet and um going through things. And you know the craziest part about it is cause see the chakras goes into the kundalini, and the
The
kundalini,
Kundalini.
yes, yes, the kundalini.
Explain to me like I'm five, man.
I got you. So the kundalini, I actually have a book about it, and it's called the awakening of the great serpent, and that's basically spiritual energy.
Mm.
The kundalini is like it's snakes. It's like a serpent. And basically, the way the chakras is described is that the kundalini is two serpents, and this goes back into the male and female energy that sits at the base of your spine. And then over lifetimes, you know, you work through lessons and you learn things and you rise up to enlightenment. And that's when you see Buddha and Jesus, and they have these big round circles of light around their head. It's because they reach enlightenment.
Mm.
So the Kundalini is basically those two energies, and the Earth has a Kundalini. The Earth we are the Earth, but it's like the Kundalini Earth is a great snake. It's a great serpent. And that's why you see in ancient Egypt, you see like the pharaohs and stuff, and they had those serpents, those snakes on top of that, you know, in front of their crown.
Yeah.
That's what that means. They understood the Kundalini and the Earth energy of the universe. So um when you look at um like hospitals and ambulances and stuff, you ever
Hmm.
notice how they have that snake going up the staff and there's like
Yeah.
wings at the top?
Yeah.
That's what that is. Why
Mm.
did you ever think about that? Like why is that there?
I
Why
no.
is it a snake going up the staff?
You don't start thinking about it until you sit your ass down and actually talk about it. You know.
Bruh, bruh, it's so deep. So it's like the health industry knows that us clearing our chakras is how we ultimately ascend. But the I, which is the Illuminati, whatever, that's behind the matrix, they know that if they keep people sick and vibrating low as fuck, then nobody will ever rise up out this dimension. So this is a dimensional conversation at this point because it's like, okay, how do we ascend?
But why is that? Why would they want to keep? Why would you want to not progress a people?
Right. And that's questions that I've had myself. It's you know, I've heard people say um that they harness the energy of the masses to for their own, you know,
Yeah, I can
benefit,
see that. I can see that.
you know, for control, which goes back to the ego. Um and you know, and that and I have those same questions because it's like how can I think like this, but you know, some of the world, you know, some people don't think like this. Like what the hell? Um so I got the same questions, brother. But at the same time, you know, it's like, damn, like y'all know about chakras, y'all know about Kundalini, like, and it might not even necessarily be the nurses or the doctors that know it.
It's
There's
the
there's practitioners
organization, the roots of the organization.
behind it, right,
Yeah.
right. So they pump us with these medicines, all this stuff, you know, vaccines, whatever it is, but they know in reality that this is a dimension that we in right now. This third dimension, this solid, this a third dimension. So it's like now, people like us, me and you, indigo children, whoever, that's hip to like, okay, this ain't all that there is. Now we have the responsibility of tapping in and teaching.
Mm.
That's how I see it. That's really how I
Inspire
see
growth
it. And
amongst the
I know it's,
masses.
hey, what'd you say, brother?
No, I said and inspire growth amongst the masses. That's pretty. Yeah,
Yeah,
it helps you
yeah,
understand the spectrum even more because all of this shit, all of that shit, is a part of that
right,
spectrum.
right. cause like I've been saying, it's and like when everything popped off with the killing, the police killing, and the coronavirus, I'm like, man, that's not my reality. I'm not catching corona. I ain't getting killed by no cop. That's just like, that's my reality. That's what I choose to manifest.
Mm.
But it's realizing that that might not be my reality, but it's people around this hole that think like that, and there's people around here that really just own it. Like, so it's just that's the awareness of being like, okay, this might not be my reality,
But
but
it's
it's some
somebody.
people reality
Yep.
that's actually racist as fuck that might want to blow my shit off. That ain't my reality, but it's just
Yeah.
awareness of like, and you can dodge that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you be out, you catch a racist vibe or you catch a vibe, and it's just like, okay, like that's what they own. So it's just being aware. But at the same time, our responsibility is creating that new reality. That reality of, yeah, in the fifth dimension, this shit don't exist. This shit is going on down here, this dumbass shit, like people being on that dumb shit, like that don't exist in the 5D,
Mm.
you know. So that's pretty much where we at, man. And we done had a whole school lecture, baby. A whole church, for real.
Well, I actually have a couple questions. One is
Go
still
ahead, man.
on the chakras because I know from my experience with chakras, or see one of the not the first time I was introduced. One time they enlightened me on it was actually that show Avatar has a real cool episode that just
Right,
goes into it deep, and it's really dope that they even do that within that show. Um,
right.
there is also there was a reading I did. I forgot what I was reading a book on meditation, and pretty much the way that they tackled it was the way you increase or unlock those chakras is through meditation. It's through sitting down and experiencing this reality that we're in and opening up other realities and whatnot. My question for you is: do you meditate? How has that experience been for you? Have you unlocked chakras, or do you feel like there's still unlocked chakras you need to unlock? Yeah, like go into that. Tell me your experience of your experience of unlocking your
Okay.
chakras.
He outside? Yeah, brother. I'm glad you asked this question. I'm definitely glad you asked this question. Huh? Yeah, he looked at me like he lived here. I don't know. Yeah, man. So
Are y'all talking about that dog again?
yeah, the dog is trying to stay. The dog is like really like I was coming in the crib and I was trying to get him to come off the step. So I'm like patting my knee. He looked at me like, shit, nigga, I live here. That's how he looked at that's how he looked at me. Um so as far as the chakras, um, there are certain instances in my life that have let me know that it's definitely some truth. Um, of just being aware of them. I could say so. I remember last year. It's a girl. I think so. I don't know. I don't know. Um. So I went to. I was in Minnesota with my friend, and we was in this hotel, and I'm basically like on my way to sleep, and it was times where I would feel this positive energy, um, like basically in my butt area, like trying to rise up while I'm asleep. And I knew what it was, but at the same time I'm half asleep, so it's like I'm not really it's kind of freaking me out while I'm asleep. This is
Hmm.
like this positive energy, like literally trying to rise up from the base of my spine. So it's been situations like that. Um, Also, especially when I was doing the pills, I would it's like I know these third eye, which is a sixth chakra. It's called mudras. And that's basically, when you see like the Buddha or different deities, like they'll meditate and they'll have their fingers positioned a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
almost in the OK or the blood symbol. And
Yeah.
that, yeah. So like the index to the thumb is a third eye mudra, and you can literally meditate with that and open your third eye. And I know from experience, because back when I used to do pills, it was like, the thing about the pills, man, well, the pills I was doing, the Ambien, it would kick in, and it's like everything good. Like there's nothing to worry about. It's just heaven, like on a cloud. And then you go into this deep dive uh, of just unconsciousness, basically. But long story short, um, somehow I would end up in these deep conversations when I was on pills, and I would end up going into my third eye mudra, which is the index finger to the thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that, before. So basically, I remember one night in particular, uh, it was a long night of doing ambient drinking, all that shit. And pretty much, I go into the mudras, I'm index to the thumb, like I know that's my third eye, cool. So long story short, man, I wake up the next day and I'm talking about, it's just positive energy literally shooting through the middle of my brain. Like just like no unconfidence, nothing, just like I'm me. This feels good. It's just positive energy shooting through my third eye.
Mm.
And just the trip part though, I go to the gas station, because usually I have anxiety, so I go to the gas station, I'm like, man, usually when I go, I'm like kind of watching my back, so to speak, or I'm just like on, ready for whatever. But this day, I go in there, it's just like, I'm just vibing. Like, it wasn't even nothing.
You're able to let your
And,
guard down and just feel the
yeah,
actual
like,
place you're in.
man, it's just spiritual energy, like, positive energy shooting through my third eye. And, so, I'm cooling. So I get back to the crib, and I'm like, man, you know what? I'm finna pop this Ambien. But all that energy went away, bro. Crazy shit, right?
Mm.
You know, and that pill, it killed my shit. So it's just, yeah, man, as far as chakras, I know personally with the sacral chakra, which is the second chakra, which deals with the genitals and stuff. And that's why I'm so much an advocate in just trying to figure out the sexual energy, because I went through some trauma, being molested as a youngin,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying, as a kid, and that confused my sexual energy. And that's like the second chakra. So with that's trauma that I still work through. That's trauma that I still work through, of understanding feminine and masculine energy and what it is and who I am. And that's why you see, with me expressing myself with extremism as far as feminine energy, with the tights, the lipstick, all that stuff. Like that's like an expression, extreme expression of my feminine energy, and
Do you,
not knowing what all that shit mean.
does it and does it do we trying to form my question here? Do we all feel, I guess, because in some form or fashion, I think when you think about the feminine energy, you think about the maternal energy, the maternal energy you're supposed to learn from the mother to help you be able to basically understand it
Nurture,
better,
yeah,
knowing when
yeah.
to
I mean,
nurture.
yeah, yeah.
And
Because I mean, oh, go ahead, bro.
no, you can go ahead. I'm because I'm still forming my question, and I'm listening. So
Yeah,
continue.
yeah, like the masculine and what I was saying about the left brain, the masculine energy is structure. And this goes back to the singularity of what you were saying because it's in both of us, like it's in all of us, but it's just like it's the spectrum. It's the spectrum of far right feminine energy and far left masculine energy. So it's like masculine energy is structure, it's direction, because feminine energy is just like woo, like women like the masculine energy is. I mean, the feminine energy is just like woo, like it's just wild. It's creative.
Mm,
It's intuition. It's all of that. But see, the masculine energy is gonna look at it like, oh, this is this, this is that, this is that. Like it's a sequence. So that's the dance between the universe. It's between those
mm.
those hemispheres.
Between the structure and the chaos,
Right.
and find the balance between that shit. Mm.
Exactly.
And that's
Exactly.
that's what it's about, and that's that's what I'm learning. I really want to get, because I feel like as you progress, you become more interested in how can I unlock my chakras, how can I unlock more of
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. And it's scary. Cause I mean I've watched videos on YouTube about people saying that they unlocked their kundalini, their chakras, and they saw some shit that they wasn't ready for necessarily. And I feel like at this point in time, which time is relative as well, that's a conversation that honestly blows my mind every time as far as time goes. But uh time is like the time right now, right here, right now is this is almost like a tipping point, but it's not nothing to be like anxious or afraid of. It's not like that, but it's just like our brain is meant to evolve. So it's like if we've been through these dark ages where the ego has kept everything suppressed, and even if you want to get into indigo children, which is something that I definitely believe in, um, indigo
Explain like
children.
I'm five.
I got you. So star seeds. Okay, so put it like this. Okay, like how our parents. Well, I know my parents. Well, yeah, because you're the same age as me. Our parents, went through the segregation. They went through all that shit on this planet. We was born in what? You was born in 92, 93?
93.
93. Bro, we never seen a white water fountain and a colored water fountain. What the fuck is that? Like, that don't even make sense to me.
Yeah.
I was born in 92. Like, I never seen that. That don't even make sense to me. So, like, long story short, man, this age that we was born in, like, from, I would say, the late 80s to now, the children that's being born now is called, basically, okay, let's backtrack. So, indigo children was a term that came from this psychic back in the 70s. And what she noticed is that what like the kids that she would assess during that time, they had an indigo aura around them,
Hmm.
like a violet blue aura. And she noticed that they were intelligent, they thought faster, they had intelligence, like really like advanced children, basically. So what we notice is that like between the 80s, the early 80s to now, it's been, if you notice, the kids are way more advanced, even us. Being born in 92, 93, like we're way more advanced, bro. Not even like downputting our parents. Like they got wisdom, don't get me wrong. But like we came in this bitch with information, bro.
Yeah.
And it said that like the indigo seeds are here to raise the vibration of the planet and raise the vibration of the people on the planet to go higher. That's what indigo children are, and that's what we are. And I really wholeheartedly believe that. And that goes into the superhero shit, like it goes through all that. And if you notice, right when we was being born, like the late 80s, early 90s. That's when all these TV channels started coming out, all these other programs, all these fucking stations, bro, on cable to program us so that we wouldn't know who the fuck we really are and know that we got a special mission on this planet, bro. Like for real, bro. And like I get emotional talking about it because it makes me upset and it makes me so fucking sad that our parents, bro, and I come from a Christian family. And for like them to be locked down in consciousness, not saying, I mean, there are truths in the Bible, bro, but a lot of that shit is to lock down consciousness, bro. And it fucking makes me so upset. It makes me so upset, bro. Like I'm literally just like, it makes me so fucking upset to know that like that's some of the systems that's been set in this dimension to keep people here. So when we think about the mothership, which is Mother Earth, which is essentially a spirit, is rising people up out of this.
Hey,
And
can you
we
hear me?
have the mission. Yeah.
So there was a big disconnection. The last thing I heard you say
Oh
was
shit.
TV channels. So
Oh shit.
I'm
So
gonna have you backtrack to catch
yeah,
me up to speed.
yeah. So what I was saying is like it's crazy that like when we was being born, all these channels came out on cable, like fucking all the different because at first it was just like it would be like channel 1 to like fucking maybe 50 or some shit. But as we was being born, it was like we got Dish Network, we got all this stuff, all these distractions. Like it's like thousands of channels, right, on the TV.
Yeah.
And that's on purpose. And I was just saying how it makes me so upset and it makes me sad because it's like our parents, I come from a Christian background of religion and stuff, and it's like there are truths in the word. Don't get me wrong, but the overall goal of that shit is to lock down people consciousness to where they
Mm.
judgmental or they hate themselves. So it made me so it gets me upset, bro. And I'm glad we having this conversation because I need to feel that. And
We all we all
like,
do. The importance of the communication is so important. It's we are stories. All of this shit is stories, and as we progress, that's why it's important. It's important to communicate this shit. It's important to stop and try to understand this shit. I keep stressing that. I'm gonna keep stressing that. That's what I'm preaching. Understanding the spectrum.
yeah. But hey, man, I don't know what's going on with my charger, bro. If we gotta do a part 2, we can. But I gotta go, man. I don't know
Hey,
what's up with my phone.
I'm always happy to have you, bro. This has been a very I've enjoyed this conversation, and
Bro,
I
same.
look forward to another one. So you stay up, and I'll talk to you later, bro.
Same. I'm gonna see you soon, man.
I see. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll chop it up
You know it.
later, bro.
Later, bro.